What if I told you you only need to buy 22 things at the supermarket in order to eat well, cook real meals, and actually save money? Right here in front of me, I've got the 22 smart basics that can feed your family for an entire week for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Plus, stick with me right to the end because I'm going to be sharing my favourite free hack that means that a shorter grocery list never has to mean boring meals. Okay, let's get to the stuff that is in front of me. We're going to start off with the small but the mighty carrot. It can go in stews, soups, sauces. It's a side, it's a snack if you peel it and cut it up into sticks. If your kids are a bit fussy as well, it's super easy to hide it in sauces. What I do is just pop it in this Kenwood mini chopper that I have and whiz it until it's almost like a paste, and then I pop it in the sauce and it just kind of disappears and they have no idea that there are bits of carrot in there. That's just a really good tip if you struggle to chop the carrots finely enough, or if even when you do chop them finely, your kids still say, ugh, there's carrots in there. This is a nice way of hiding the carrots in there until you can get them to come round to the fact that carrots are amazing. Next on my list is peppers, another super versatile item. This can be used in your cooking, but it also can be chopped up into sticks and served as a snack. Staying in the vegetable aisle still, we have now got a cauliflower. I've only got half of this cauliflower because I used half of it yesterday. Now I've picked cauliflower and carrots for my particular list for the vegetables, but to be honest with you, if you want to swap out cauliflower for broccoli, do it. But whichever veg you go with, it's this kind of thing that bulks out a meal and also makes it healthy. Plus things like cauliflower and broccoli as well are so versatile. It's a side dish, but it also can be used in cooking of stir fries and sauces and curries. I personally love cauliflower in a curry. I think that works really well. So whenever I'm making a roast dinner and we have cauliflower as a side, I'll cook a little bit extra and then I'll reserve it in the fridge overnight, and then the next day I can cook a curry and just pop those cooked florets of cauliflower in right at the end just to bulk out the curry a little bit. Moving on now to the humble but so versatile potato. There are a ton of different things you can do with potatoes, whether you prefer to buy white potatoes, I mean these are actually red skin potatoes but they're white potatoes, or whether you prefer to buy sweet potatoes. So many different things that you can do, from creating potato wedges, making your own chips, roast potatoes, baked potatoes, mashed potato. Maybe if you're feeling a little bit adventurous, you grate them and turn them into a potato rosti. They are one of the cheapest things that you can buy in the supermarket, so 100% you better believe these are always going into my shopping cart. Now we have onions. Onions for me are one of those things that I love so much because you can buy a pack, and if it's in the fridge, I actually find that they last like quite a long time. I'll cut them in half and only use half in the cooking when I'm cooking for 4 of us. My kids are a little bit funny about finding bits of onion in their food, so sometimes I will do, again, the same thing that I do with the carrot. I will put them into this mini chopper that I have and turn them into almost like a paste and then fry them, and it just kind of disappears into the sauce. So the flavour is there for me to recognise, but the kids aren't saying, what are those bits of onion? Onions are essential for things like curries, pasta sauces, flavouring up a chilli or a spaghetti bolognese. Again, one of the cheapest things by gram that you can buy in the supermarket. Moving over to the fruit section of the supermarket now, and I have got bananas and apples. Now these make an absolutely fantastic mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack for the kids and for us, but they can also be used to make other things as well. If your bananas have gone a bit spotty and they're not looking particularly appealing, they're feeling a bit squishy, that is when they are perfect for putting into banana bread. My husband has a really amazing banana bread recipe that he makes. The kids like making it with him, and that banana bread loaf makes a fantastic snack to slice up and serve to our kids. Apples can be peeled, chopped, add a little bit of sugar, get some plain flour and butter, and you have got yourself an apple crumble. Yum. Okay, what else have I got in front of me? I've also got a box of eggs. I am such a huge fan of eggs. I could eat eggs every single day of the week. They're a breakfast, they're a lunch, they're a dinner, they can do it all. Use them to make an omelette, use them to make a frittata, use them in egg fried rice, use them in a stir fry. You can use them to make pancakes, you can use them to make batter for things like Yorkshire pudding and toad in the hole. I personally have always been a big fan of the super basic meal that is fried egg and chips. Like, for me, it's like so simple, it's such a cheap meal, and yet there's something so delicious about it with your eggs, with your potato, you can make your own chips and you just fry some eggs. Easy, delicious, a proper like British comfort meal, I think. Also in front of me here, I have got obviously a loaf of bread. We do sometimes make our own bread, but it's quite rare that we do that. That we just find during the week that we don't really have that much time with work and with the kids at school in order to do it. So for now, we're buying our loaves of bread for our sandwiches, our toast, for using a slice that might have gone a little bit stale in order to make breadcrumbs, to make things such as chicken nuggets. Obviously, you have to have a loaf of bread. And you can't have sandwiches and toast without a little bit of butter. I always buy unsalted butter. Very occasionally we treat ourselves to some of the salted butter, especially some of that stuff. Tesco does this really nice one that has actual like crystals of salt on it, and it is so moreish. It is very much a treat thing. Like if you eat too much of that, obviously it's not going to be great for you. I also use butter in cooking occasionally for frying things such as pancakes, and also obviously when it comes to things like baking as well, you've got to have some unsalted butter. Sticking in the dairy section for a little bit longer now, I have got some cheddar cheese. Once again, a very versatile ingredient. Use it in cheese sandwiches. Use it in your cooking, grate it over pasta. It can be cut up into cubes and served as a snack for your kids that you can take out when you're on the go. My next essential is, of course, milk. Not just to pour it on your cereals or on your porridge in the morning, but also to use in various different recipes. This is an essential part of batter mix for making things such as pancakes, Yorkshire pudding, toad in the hole batter. Plus, my kids and me actually like to have a little glass in the evenings or in the mornings every now and then. And my next ingredient is a large pot of yogurt. So I've bought a branded yogurt here. This is the brand that the kids really enjoy eating. This is just plain natural yogurt. Now, when you buy yogurt, if you buy it in the larger tubs such as this, rather than the smaller tubs where they've divvied it up into portions for you, you will save like 30 or 40% on the cost. So I'll open this up and then I'll seal it up and then just give the kids a portion for whatever it is that they're having. Say that they're having it on a little bit of fruit for a pudding, or even if they're just having a few spoonfuls of yogurt as a snack, I will just decant it out of this larger tub and then just make sure I seal it up properly in the fridge. But yogurt comes in really handy for other recipes as well. You can use it in curries, you can use it in pasta sauces. You can also use it to mix up really quick flatbreads, or use it to create your own dip. Juice. I've got apple juice here. Sometimes we buy orange juice. Now, you'll note here that I have got a branded apple juice here, and it's one of the more expensive brands that are in the supermarket. It is often on offer, if you can consider the offers in supermarkets to be real, but look, let's face it, the offers exist and you need to buy at those prices in order to avoid being completely ripped off. So it's often on offer, and I will buy multiple bottles of it because my kids drink this every single morning with their breakfast. We're walking over to the meat aisle now, and I'm starting it off with beef mince. I can feed my kids on 750 grams of beef mince for 3 days, and possibly even have a little bit left over for someone to have for lunch on the 4th day. Beef mince is one of those fantastically versatile things that you can then add a whole bunch of stuff to, whether it be beans, vegetables, rice, pasta, in order to bulk it out. Some of my favourite things to do with beef mince include making a chilli. I absolutely love making a spicy chilli from scratch with some kidney beans in there as well, served with some rice, and to do things like making my own burgers or my own meatballs. It works out much, much cheaper to make those things yourself. Love me a pack of beef mince. Always have a pack of beef mince in the freezer. My next item from the meat aisle is a whole chicken, which I don't have in front of me because I cooked it yesterday. So for a start, you get it home and you roast it. You can use that chicken with a roast dinner or with some chips maybe. The next day, you've got leftover meat to eat again. You could pop that in a curry. You could pop it in a stir fry. Maybe you could pop it in an omelette. You could use it in a sandwich for lunch. And then you reserve the bones, the carcass, everything that's left over that you can't eat, and you pop that into a pot. You cover it with water. You add some carrot ends, some carrot peelings, maybe some bits of carrot that you've got left, and you cook that up make it into a stock, or you could even go on and make it into a soup. Okay, what else have I got in front of me here? Let's take a look at canned goods, and I have got here some canned beans. Now, I don't care what kind of beans you like. Maybe you like Heinz baked beans, maybe you like kidney beans, maybe you like butter beans. I personally do really love butter beans. I'm not a fan of Heinz baked beans. I actually have a little bit of a phobia about them. Whenever I see people doing that thing where you like do a sponsored sit in a bath of baked beans, I actually feel a little bit sick. Moving on, whatever beans you like to eat, have them in your cupboard because they are going to bulk out your chicken and your beef. Tin tomatoes for me are one of these things that I am just using in our kitchen constantly. Using it to make soups, using it to make sauces, using it to make my chili, using it to make my spaghetti bolognese, using it to make a lasagna. I use them in curries. You can also use them as well to spread on top of pizza and make your own pizzas at home. My current favourite recipe to do with chopped tomatoes is this chicken jalfrezi recipe that I do, and it is so close to the chicken jalfrezis that you can get as a takeaway. I swear that buying chopped tomatoes at this stage has probably saved me hundreds of pounds on takeaways for those days when I've had a craving for a really spicy curry. Two more things that are always on my list are rice and pasta. Now, whether you get spaghetti like what I've got here, or penne, or the array of shapes that you can get, whatever pasta it is that floats your boat. Maybe you want to make a lasagna this week, so you buy the lasagna pasta. Whatever it is, you've got to always have some pasta in, right? I mean, like for an emergency dinner, even where you can just do like a veggie pasta dish where you get some chopped tomatoes, you cook those, maybe you add a little bit of fried onion in there, maybe a little bit of diced up carrot, make yourself a really nice pasta sauce, and then just serve your kids a very simple veggie pasta dish, grate a little bit of cheese on top. So simple, but so cheap. Rice is just one of my absolute favorite all-time things to eat. I love it with chilies, with curry. I also really like to cook it really simply, just with like some frozen peas chucked in for the last 2 minutes, and then serving it alongside some chicken and having a little bit of Nando's peri-peri sauce on the side as well. Like, such a simple meal, but it just feels so good to eat it. I can't explain it. Porridge oats. The perfect breakfast. If you're bored of having toast, a bit of porridge is absolutely fantastic. And the thing is, you can use them for more than just breakfast. You can pop them into flapjacks in order to make snacks for your kids, or in order to make cookies. So you'll notice that this list doesn't have snacks on it beyond the veg. It doesn't have any processed snacks, but you can use the oats, and obviously the bananas and apples, as I said earlier, in order to make your own. There are tons of different recipes that you can do with oats that are delicious, sweet, and will be just as much of a treat as something that you buy pre-made from the supermarket. And we'll finish up the shopping by heading over to the freezer aisle and picking up some frozen peas. Now, it could be that you prefer to get like a mixed bag of frozen veg. So whatever frozen veg it is that you buy, just get something that can be versatile for you. I really do love buying fresh veg, and I do think it's an important part of a shopping list, but having frozen veg as well is important too. Like, I think it does cut back on waste if you are relying a little bit on frozen veg, because you know that that is not going to go off. There's no like time sensitivity around your frozen veg. So that's my very basic grocery essentials list. One of the things that I observed when I was researching for a video I did a few weeks ago about old-fashioned frugal habits is how different the supermarkets of 60 years ago are compared to today, in terms of size and in terms of the choice that is available to us. And the choice hasn't expanded because we need more choice. It's expanded so that the supermarkets can get us to spend more when we're in the shop. It's this thing that's happened that has convinced us that we need this plethora of groceries, when actually we can feed our family on a very short list of essential things, and they can still eat really well. Now, of course, I do have some pantry staples that run alongside this list. These aren't things that I have to buy every week. They're not even things that I have to buy every single fortnight. I've got things like paprika, chili, thyme and oregano. Garam masala is another essential spice that I always have in. That is what I use to make our curries. I also always have a bottle of cooking oil in order to our frying and roasting. Plus we have salt, tea, coffee, a jar of Nutella because the kids love to have that on toast, some honey, which goes really, really great on top of the porridge for breakfast in the morning, and we also use the honey in a lot of our baking as well. And obviously plain flour as well. I will use that to make our own Yorkshire puddings. I'll use it to make toad in the hole batter. I will use it in order to make little pancakes for the kids or to make crepes for them. Self-raising flour as well is great to have in if you're going to be doing a little bit of baking. Baking powder and sugar as well. Now, if you're looking at my list of basic grocery items and thinking this is utterly uninspiring, I get that this is a cheap way to feed my family for 7 days, but you know, it just all seems very, very boring. I don't really know what exciting meals I can make out of that stuff. This is the hack that you need in order to never be bored with basic groceries ever again, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna open up ChatGPT. Now you can either cut and paste my grocery list into ChatGPT, or you can make the little swaps that you might need to make to this list. I completely recognize that this list does not suit everyone's taste, their dietary requirements, like whether you're a vegetarian or not, allergies. So there may need to be swaps in this list in order for you to make it work for you and your family, and that's absolutely fine. So whatever your list is, whatever your version of this basic list is, pop it into ChatGPT and ask it to produce you a menu for 7 days for a family of 4. And you can add in things like, my kids don't like spicy food, so don't make any of it spicy. Or my kids really don't like to have stir fries, so don't give me any stir fry ideas. And ChatGPT will produce you a menu for the entire week using just those ingredients that you've told it about. And if you need further help, it will then show you the specific recipes for that meal plan. And this can be done in seconds. It does not take a long time, but what it does is it gives you ideas that you may not have thought about before, and it's a time saver because you're not having to go into Google and Google beef mince recipes that aren't boring and wade through tons and tons of web pages. It's right there at your fingertips. And then once you have those ideas, then maybe you can go to Google, maybe you had some inspiration and you can look at some recipe blogs, narrow in on some recipes that you might like to make. It's easy, free and fast. I really recommend you try it. Those are my 22 grocery essentials. What did you think? What do you make of all of this? Is there anything that you'd swap out for anything different? Is there anything that you disagree with? Is there anything that you change? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end of this video. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for more from me. It really helps the channel out and I would love to have you join us here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.